This video I'm going to speak about what constitutes a good fight. I was thinking about this the other day. There was a recent boxing match that just took place. I think it was a welterweight division. I forgot the people's names. Not for sure what the names is. It might have been like Thompson and Porter or something like that. But it was said to be a good fight. I read an article about it, and then I saw some highlights on the fight, and then I saw the actual fight on YouTube. And they were pretty evenly matched. I mean, it was not easy for the defending champion to win the fight. It was almost like a split decision. But it got me to think about like what constitutes a good fight, and this whole thing about competitive sports. And the problem that I have with it is that it's just so dangerous, and it's just not good for your health. You know what I mean? And I think I just want to indicate what the difference between martial arts is to me and like combat sport. It's not that these combat sport. Hey, ride the other way. Where are you going? It's not that these combat sport athletes aren't talented. It's just that what they're doing to their bodies, and it's just very unhealthy, and what it's promoting for the society is not healthy as well. It's when you're talking about a good fight, you're talking about two people that are like evenly matched, two people that are very highly skilled, or they could even be unskilled. It doesn't matter. People out there want to be entertained, so they want to see people fight. They are not entertained when it's quote unquote something that's not a good fight. Unless somebody's like getting like really knocked out badly and they can see somebody injured. It's like people get entertained when they see somebody get severely injured, and then people get very entertained when they see two people like really hurting each other very badly. So it really doesn't matter if it's two girls fighting, or two men fighting, or a man and a woman fighting, or two dogs fighting, or two cats fighting, or two lions fighting. It's like people, they want to see people fight. They want to be entertained. They want to see people struggle to overcome. When it's something, even in things that are not combat sport, like basketball, if it's a blowout, if one team wins by like 40 points, then people, they're not that entertained by it, because to them that's not considered a good game. It's not like evenly matched. If you got an NBA team, a men's NBA team playing against a women's WNBA, it's not considered entertaining because they're not evenly matched. So for these people, in order for them to be entertained, they want to see two fighters that are evenly matched. But the thing is, it's like when that happens, that's not something that should happen. That's something where it shouldn't even get to that level, because it's just too dangerous. If two people are evenly matched and neither of them want to surrender or submit to the other, as greater than themselves, then it's a very dangerous situation. And I feel that martial artists, they don't engage in those dangerous situations. I mean, they spar for training purposes, to help to get themselves better, and they might be a teacher or an instructor trying to help somebody else get better. But it's not going to be a situation where you got two people who think that they're better than than the other person, and then they're fighting to try to prove to see who's better. To me, in the martial arts, that doesn't belong. It's kind of like when you step into a school and or a classroom, you're supposed to acknowledge the teacher and say that, hey, there's something for me to learn. But if you go in that classroom and you feel that there's nothing for you to learn, then there's pretty much no reason to even be in that classroom, because you already determined that there's nothing to learn. And especially when it comes to the martial arts, I mean, a blowout is essentially an extreme knockout, an extreme expression of just like overly aggressive, like too much force, like just it's overstepping your level of control when it comes to the martial arts. It's like that's not how it's supposed to be. Like, and it's just being expressed in very wrong ways that I see. You know, if two people are really highly skilled, then they should just leave it alone. When it comes to the martial arts. But if you're talking about track and field and they're running side by side, that's one thing. You're talking about swimming and you're seeing who can swim from one end to the other end quicker, that's another thing. But when you're talking about the martial arts and you're talking about like people trying to really hurt each other, and hit each other as hard as they possibly can, that just doesn't lead to anything positive for these people's health and their well-being. But that's what people are entertained by, and that's what they consider a good fight, when they see people just destroying each other. They want to see people take hits and give hits and hit as hard as they possibly can. If these boxers had headgear on, it's not considered as entertaining because they got headgear on. I mean, they want to see the blood. They want to see the cuts. They want to see people get knocked unconscious. They want to see potentially somebody die in the ring. I mean, they just want to see more extreme forms of they want to see extreme forms of pain. And martial arts is not about that. If you got somebody at a very high level and he thinks that he's better, then so be it. Let him think what he wants to think, but it's not in your position to prove anything. I think that when you're a martial art teacher, you're supposed to have that self-control into not putting yourself in that danger or putting at somebody else's health at risk because your ego's too overinflated and you want to prove to yourself that you can do something that you might even think yourself that you're not capable of doing. And to me that just doesn't belong in the martial arts. You know what I mean? Like, I feel that when you get to a high level, then hey, you can find people that want to learn from you. But if there's people out there that think that they're better than you and they don't want to learn from you, then you just leave those people alone. You don't need their business. You can find somebody else to give you business. And a martial artist is somebody who's like, even if he doesn't find any students, then he'll find another way to make business that has nothing to do with the martial arts. That's how I feel a martial artist is. There's always going to be people out there that weigh more than you, that are taller than you, that are faster, that are stronger. There's always going to be people out there like that. And it's not in your position to prove anything. You just reach to the highest level that you can reach to. You get as good as you possibly can. And then when you meet people that want to learn from you, then you teach them. But when you meet people that want to challenge you, that's a whole other thing. You should stay away from that. Because those aren't your students. Those are pretty much your enemies. And you just basically stay away from those people. Because they're not there to learn from you. They're there to hurt you. They want to hurt you. So, obviously, you don't want them to hurt you. But then if you go around and then you end up hurting them, I mean, that's not standing for what the martial arts is about. How could you have a student that literally genuinely thinks he's better than you? If he genuinely thinks he's better than you, then he's not really your student. He's your competitor. And if he's your competitor, then he needs to mind his own business while you go on about your way. You just do your thing. And this is what capitalism is and business is. I mean, you got one company against another company. They're not working together. They gotta do their own thing, stay away from each other, and then you got one company that's trying to put another company out of business, but with martial arts, it's not just business, it's literally like physically hurting somebody, like really destroying somebody and taking away their life. I mean, or potentially taking away their life, or at least like shaving off many years in their lives. You know what I mean? Like, not too long ago, one of those cage fighters died in the cage, for example. You know what I mean? Like, and these two boxers, I mean, yeah, they're going super hard at each other, and they, they're they're gonna suffer. You know, they're gonna suffer. You know that they felt the pain. They just pretend like they didn't feel the pain. You know when they go home, they're not gonna feel good. You know months down the line, they're gonna feel the effects of it. You know years down the line, it's gonna affect them. You know that their brains are gonna get severely damaged. You know, and they're there to entertain the people. And to me, a martial artist doesn't sacrifice his health and his well-being to entertain people. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? I think a martial artist makes smarter decisions as far as protecting his own health, and not just his own health, but just having the compassion to not want to really hurt somebody badly just for attention, fame, money, whatever the case may be. Like, you just have that compassion, just like you would for your child. You don't want to hurt your child. You want to challenge your child. You want to help your child get better, but you don't want to hurt them. You know what I mean? Like, I feel that when you spar with people, it should be like your friends, your family, your teacher, you know, other people in the school, with respect. And you should always watch out for each other's safety, and it should never be like with the intention of like knocking somebody out, you know, or things like that. I mean, I think when it comes to combat sport, that's where they go wrong. I mean, they're literally trying to knock each other out and really severely hurt each other. And that's the thing. It's like, it doesn't make sense, because if you really want to severely hurt somebody, then why even have the equipment on? Why even have gloves on? Just take the gloves off. You know, just do away with the rules. Just go ahead and hurt each other. Go ahead and kill each other. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I just think that there's not enough good examples out there for the martial arts. You know, there's not enough in the mass public, like, demonstrations of like safer ways to spar, or like more effective ways to spar, or like more honorable ways and just the right way to spar. I think just people are very confused. All they see is combat sport, and they think that that's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to like spar with enemies and really like destroy each other, hurt each other. You know what I mean? Like, and sparring for, you know, to impress other people and then to embarrass somebody. No, it's like, to me, sparring is just supposed to be something where you're there, you know, you're doing it to work on your skills, to practice, to try to get better, and you're not really trying to hurt your opponent. You know, you're basically you're thanking that the training partner for being there to help you progress, and it should stop whenever it needs to stop. You know, and there's no such thing as winning and losing. You know, there's no such thing as, there shouldn't be people around instigating, you know, people to, you know, to basically hurt the other person. You know, it's just done all wrong to me, the way that I see it. It's not a healthy expression. It's not the martial arts, and it's just basically almost misguiding the public, miseducating the public, and people just don't know any better because they don't know anything else. And I think there needs to be more expressions out there that are doing it the right way. You know, I feel that the only people that should be sparring are like, you know, it has to happen. It should happen under a school, and you should be sparring with your teacher and then the other students in the class to all work together towards helping each other get better. But you know, schools should not be sparring each other or fighting each other to see what style is better than what, or like which school is better than what school. It shouldn't be like that at all. You know what I mean? Like, it's not supposed to be like that. You know, schools to me are supposed to just, you know, respect each other and leave each other alone, you know, and just not try to prove anything. You know, every school's out there doing their thing um, the way that they think is best, and it's not about proving to see what school is better than what other school. It's just about, you know, trying to grow your school the best that you know how. You know what I mean? And not necessarily really stealing students from other schools, but more so just being honest with what your school believes in and what you practice, and finding students that appreciate that. Because it's not just all about fighting, you know. Um, there's so many other things that are important in a school, and not one school is going to be the ideal school for everybody. You know, so that's the way that I see it.